Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the BodyMaitre Podcast. Today, we're journeying into a topic that sits quietly in the background of many people's lives. Often unnoticed, yet deeply influential. The self-punishment program in spiritual response therapy. If you've ever felt like you're carrying burdens that aren't yours, or that life seems heavier than it should be, or that somehow you're always the one sacrificing, giving, and taking on more than you can carry, this episode might speak directly to your heart. Let's take a breath together and step into this exploration gently, layer by layer. What self-punishment really is. In both spiritual and psychological perspectives, self-punishment begins with guilt, often irrational, deeply emotional, and long-lasting guilt. It's that internal voice that says, I did something wrong, or I am responsible for others' suffering, or I don't deserve better. Psychology calls it internalized guilt or self-directed anger. Spiritual wisdom sees it as an energy imprint, a memory that outlived the event that created it. Many of these imprints don't even come from this lifetime. They can be echoes from past lives where we believe we harmed someone, failed a duty, misused power, or caused suffering. Those unresolved echoes become programs, running silently until someone brings them into awareness. In spiritual response therapy, a self-punishment program is considered a discordant soul record. It's like a spiritual command that gets stuck in the subconscious. It says, I must pay for my mistakes. I must carry the burden. I must suffer to make things right. And even though this belief doesn't make logical sense, the soul holds onto it as a way of creating balance, even if it's a false sense of balance. This program shapes how we think, feel, behave, and relate to others, especially in close relationships. How self-punishment shows up in daily life. Self-punishment rarely looks like dramatic self-destruction. Most of the time, it hides in everyday choices. It shows up when we say yes, even when every part of us wants to say no. It shows up when we choose the harder path because the easy path feels undeserved. It shows up when we take care of everyone else but ignore our own needs. Self-punishment can become a lifestyle without us noticing. We call it being responsible, being strong, being the good one, being the giver. But underneath, there's a soul whisper saying, you owe, you must pay, you must carry this. Why these programs form? From SRT's perspective, these programs often come from past life experiences where the soul believes it caused harm, failed a duty, broke a vow, or used its power unwisely. Sometimes they come from religious conditioning, where suffering was equated with purification. Other times they come from childhood, when a child takes on a parent's pain, guilt, anger, or responsibility, believing, if I suffer, maybe they will be okay. Self-punishment is almost always born from a misunderstanding, a moment where the soul came to the wrong conclusion about itself. Self-punishment doesn't just stay in the mind. It finds its way into the emotional body, the physical body, and even the spirit. It can create weight, heaviness, emotional numbness, chronic guilt, or invisible pressure. It becomes a loop. You punish yourself for something, then punish yourself for punishing yourself. And the cycle continues. People don't notice they're doing it because it feels normal, familiar, expected, almost like an identity. Energetically, self-punishment behaves like a contract, a vow made long ago. It says, I must not rise too high. I must not shine too brightly. I must always compensate. I must sacrifice myself for others. This contract keeps attracting situations where you're required to sacrifice. It pulls you into family roles, work roles, and relationship patterns where you end up carrying more than your fair share. Strangely, the program forms with good intentions. It tries to keep you humble. It tries to protect others from you. It tries to balance an old karmic story. It tries to keep you safe. But in modern life, it becomes self-sabotage, limiting your joy, blocking your opportunities, and draining your energy. How you know you have this program? People with self-punishment patterns often feel guilty when good things happen, responsible for everyone, uncomfortable receiving help, afraid to set boundaries, trapped in conflict or burden, undeserving of joy, peace, or success. And perhaps the biggest sign is this: whenever life gets easier, something inside feels uneasy. As if you are waiting for the next difficulty, that is the soul remembering the old contract. Now let's explore how SRT and BodyMaitre work together using a real case study. A man came seeking help for his family relationships. Even though he loved his family, he felt heavy around them. Almost suffocated, he carried financial responsibilities for everyone. He tried to keep peace in the house. He tried to be the responsible one. But every effort led to more conflict, more demands, and more emotional weight. He told me, "It feels like I'm carrying the entire family on my shoulders." During SRT research, we uncovered a self-punishment program. To understand how this program affected him holistically, we expanded the research using the BodyMaitre 4 bodies system. That's when the fullness of his story came alive. Spiritual body, past life contracts, and vows. In his spiritual body, we found old agreements that said, "I must repay my family. I must protect them at all cost. I must carry their burden. I owe them for past mistakes." These vows made him overgive, overcarry, and over-sacrifice. To him, it felt like responsibility. Energetically, it was an old karmic contract replaying itself. When these vows were revoked, his spiritual body finally released the sense of debt he thought he owed. Physical body feeling trapped and unable to speak up. His physical body felt like a cage. He felt stuck in his home environment, stuck in his role, stuck in expectations he didn't agree to but couldn't escape. His throat and chest tightened whenever he wanted to speak up. His body learned silence as a survival mechanism. Self-punishment told him that speaking up was unsafe, that expressing his needs would harm others. The physical body held the memory of how dangerous honesty felt, even though the danger wasn't real anymore. Emotional body feeling mistreated. His emotional body carried a deep wound, the experience of being mistreated or taken for granted. Instead of feeling, "I deserve respect," the self-punishment program twisted it into, "This is what I deserve." This emotional pattern drew him back into the same family conflict again and again. Because his emotional body recognized the mistreatment as familiar, mental body, lack of self-worth. The mental body held the core belief that anchored the whole pattern: "I am not worthy of ease. I am not worthy of support. I must earn my value. I must carry the burden." This thought became the lens through which he interpreted his entire family dynamic. Once we cleared the self-punishment program, his mental body finally opened to the idea, "I deserve a life that supports me too." When we look at the 4 bodies together, a complete picture forms. The spiritual body carried vows demanding sacrifice. The physical body felt trapped and silenced. The emotional body accepted mistreatment as normal. The mental body believed he deserved burden. This is how a self-punishment program molds a person's life, by influencing every layer of consciousness. After the clearing, he felt lighter, clearer, and more empowered to step out of the family drama without guilt. Self-punishment programs are some of the most deeply rooted patterns we carry, but they are not permanent. They can be healed, they can be released, and you can reclaim your right to live with ease, joy, and freedom. Thank you for joining me today. May this understanding help you recognize and release any unconscious burdens you might be carrying. And until next time, take care of your body, your mind, your emotions, and your spirit, and allow yourself to be free.